here in 1943.
Oh, okay.
And that was during the war. So, and he was a carpenter, but he didn't really get to building houses until after the war. But he worked as a carpenter on the base during the rest of the war.
Oh, okay. And that's what brought him up here?
Yeah, right. He hired out from Minneapolis, actually, and they brought him up. And we followed a few months later. And as far as...
How old were you then?
15.
15? Oh, wow.
Just taken just before they left.
That's Chuck's mom and dad and brother?
Yeah, brother Bob.
Oh, okay.
He's about 6 foot. He grew to be about 6'2" or so. But he's a younger brother, so here he is, real small.
But anyway, this whole strip of lots from Lundquist down to the park was owned by George Nervous.
Oh.
And he was a local businessman, and he built the house next door to us here, and lived in it. The interesting thing here was these lots along the river. There was a little bit of level out here, but then they dropped off to a bench out near the river. So George Nervous brought over a drag line one summer, and worked the whole bank and full gravel out of the river, and built up the back of these lots the way they are now. Charlie Slater homesteaded this side of the river. Yeah. So Slaterville was all of his homestead. Yeah. And then, I don't know, somewhere around 1936 or something, he subdivided it, put some streets in, and started selling lots. Right. And the first houses were like Cassidy's on down this street, and several were built just before the war. Of course, Cook's over one more street north.
Yeah, mine was built 1939.
But Charlie Slater still lived down here until he died, and I don't remember what year, but probably in the 50s, I guess.
Then they turned it into a park? That lot?
Yeah, I think...
After the flood, it became so unlivable, I think, was when the fire department burned it down. I do have a picture of that.
After the house was destroyed, by maybe about the same time, I think there was 3 or 4 businessmen in town that got the property, the last of the Slater property there. Yeah. And there was threats that they were going to build some high-rise apartments or something. Yeah. So actually, Margaret got busy and went around the neighborhood and got up a petition to actually make it a park. And it actually happened.
But that was because of the money all around.
So we can thank you for our park.
Or blame me for it.
No, it's great. My kids love it. Loved it, and my daughter, she brings my grandkids over there.
Started flying when I was, I think, must have been 20. Yeah. Anyway, I think it was 1948. And I went in a partnership with 2 other guys on an airplane.
What kind of airplane?
It was a Piper Super Cruiser. Oh, wow. And took lessons at summer. And for about 15, 16, 17 years, I guided polar bear until we had to stop in, in 1972, I think, the marine mammal that put us out of business. Jeez. And we occasionally hunted brown bear on the Alaska Peninsula. But that was just kind of along with my regular job at the newspaper. Wow.
Chuck was saying that he worked for the News Miner for many years.
run into the drunks. So you ran past the drunks really fast to get downtown.
Oh, geez.
That's all I remember.
Wow.
And then across the street was a little house. There was a little house and the woman over there that had this scary black hair.
Oh, wow.
And she wore this white dress.
Uh-huh.
And about the only time I ever got a popsicle,
Uh-huh.
I don't know why we were down here. I had a banana popsicle and that woman came out of her house yelling at us.
Oh.
I went screaming home and lost my popsicle. It was very traumatic.
Don't worry, Stephanie. He's got no film on the camera. He's pretending.
Oh, I see.
Now, tell me about that. What are you doing?
So this is spinning yarn with a drop spindle.
Uh-huh.
And this is a blend of alpaca and wool.
Uh-huh.
And basically
Alpaca, where's that from?
that's from an animal called an alpaca. And
Oh, really?
It's similar to a llama. It's from South America.
Oh, okay.
They're like alpaca, but more docile.
Uh-huh.
And
Were you able to fix that pogo stick?
Oh, yeah.
You were?
Yeah, but very light people.
Oh, yeah. We'll make it,
Yeah.
you know, 10 and under.
Yeah.
so
Joey,
I
if you
spin my spindle,
Uh-huh.
and I just pull out
Oh, that's cool.
and add twist to it.
Oh.
In some ways, I prefer this because it gives me time to spend, you know, enjoying the fiber and the feel of it, whereas the spinning wheel just goes so fast
Yeah.
before I know it.
You were in the Army for 2 years?
I was in the Army 2 years during the Korean War,
Yeah.
51 and 52,
Yeah.
and but I was stationed at Eielson.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, all the guys that were drafted in Alaska, they left them in Alaska.
Oh, that's
because
cool.
Nobody else would volunteer anyway, so they just left us here, and I was
Yeah.
assigned to Eielson, so I could actually, I was doing the photo engraving
Oh.
for the paper in those days, and so I could do it 2 or 3 evenings a week.
Cool.
It worked out okay.
I did 2 overseas tours right here at Bassett Army Hospital. Uh-huh.
Came home and said she'd ordered a box of bees for us.
Oh.
I think
It's $10.
Really?
$10, and they came by mail in those days, you know, through the post office.
Uh-huh.
And there was get 3 or 4 pounds and a queen,
Wow.
and they kind of a box that had a screen wire, you know, on one side for ventilation. A little bit of sugar candy in there for survival.
Hmm.
You pretty consistently get a production. I think mine has ranged from about 7 gallons to 12 gallons for one hive. 12 was the most.
In 1 year?
We got married in 1962, so I had done that public health nursing until between 55 and 62.
Yeah. And you got up here when?
In 55, I came up as a nurse.
55
and
as a...
had an office in Fairbanks, and then my area was the Yukon River from Rampart to probably, I guess, Eagle.
Yeah.
We started to train nurses' aides because I came up just to work with tuberculosis at first.
Oh, yeah.
And we started to train aides in the village so that they could dispense medication. 2 new medicines that had just been found to be really effective.
Oh.
And so then there were 10 of us in Alaska, 10 nurses, 10 like field nurses, a nursing supervisor and a doctor supervisor. And so my assignment was this part of it.
Cool.
So then I, because those medicines were so effective, kind of after a year that TB work ended, and so I just hired on. The public health nurse left, and so Friday I finished as a TB nurse, and Monday I went to work as a general public health nurse.
Wow.
Same general office on 4th Avenue.
What was it like back then?
Well, of course, they were dirt and gravel when we were first here in which was, I guess, around 1948.
Yeah.
And very dusty when the car had come along.
Yeah.
But kind of catty-corner across the street, we had a neighbor that was foreman at the FE Company garage. And so he saved drain oil and he put drain oil on our street a couple times every summer.
Oh.
And that was really nice to have the dust.
There she, that used to be a grocery store over here somewhere.
On the other side of Slaterville.
Evelina's place, I think, wasn't it? That was the store, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was over here first. It was about where Messer's backyard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.